All right, guys, thank you and welcome to episode 3. We have Kyle Daukaus, brother of Chris Daukaus. I guess he's considered a UFC prospect, but he's been doing really well in the fight game. He's 10-1 now. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, and then also for the viewers, I also want to apologize again. This is 3 guys with thick Northeast Philly accents too, so hopefully you guys are able to understand us. All right. So my first question I have for you. So what high school did you go to?
I went to Northeast Catholic. I went there for 3 years. So I went from my freshman year to my junior year. And then at the end of my junior year, they closed. So I had to finish up at Father Judge. So I went to Father Judge for senior year and graduated from Judge.
Oh, okay, cool.
Why couldn't you? Yeah, you couldn't pick Ryan?
Nah, man. Nah. I mean, my dad and uncles busted my balls about about going to Judge, but it was closer, so I went there.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
You're a Mayfair guy, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And did you wind up playing sports when you were at North or Judge?
I played lacrosse. I played lacrosse for all 3 years when I went to North. I played football my freshman year, and then I didn't play anything at Judge, so I just took like a year off.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. So how did the whole fascination with MMA come about? Was that after your high school years, or did you use that training for your sports and all?
No, I found MMA. I think it was like my sophomore or junior year of high school. My brother actually went to the gym first, told me about it, and then I went a month afterwards. I started out more on the MMA aspect. My brother started out more the jiu-jitsu aspect. But yeah, I did a week, loved it, and it's been that ever since. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. And then what age did you start taking it really serious at? And then to jump into amateurs a little bit too.
Honestly, within my first month, I was like, this is what I wanted to do. As soon as I started, I was like, I had been watching the UFC prior to starting MMA. My brother and I used to train in my basement and stuff like that. I mean, we knew nothing, but we thought we did. But yeah, as soon as I started, I knew that I was interested in it. But when I actually physically did it, I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I could have cared less about school and cared less about anything else in the world. As long as I was training, I was happy.
Gotcha. Awesome. And then let's talk about amateurs. If you could tell us some of your achievements and all, and then also a second parter to this is one of my favorite questions. When did you know, as Kyle Daukaus, that you were ready to go pro?
So I started out as an amateur. I think I was training for about maybe 2 years, I think. I don't know. But actually my first 2 or 3 fights were at heavyweight. So because I was in high school, I was just fat. I was just a fat kid. I didn't really do anything. I mean, I played sports and stuff like that, but I was just kind of overweight. So my first couple fights were at heavyweight. I lost the majority of them. I was a 5-5 amateur. And then throughout my amateur career, I kind of dropped the weight. And then when I hit 185, I was undefeated at 85. So I had 4 or so wins at 185. As soon as I was there, I was comfortable. I felt good. Cutting the weight was easy. It wasn't a struggle. And we knew that we were going to go pro probably 2016, 2017. As long as I was getting a couple more wins in, I was good and I was set to go pro. And I got a win for CFFC. And I think that was my last one. And then I think I went pro right after that.
Oh, okay.
wow.
All right. Okay. And then to jump into your pro debut, it was on July 1st, 2017. Formerly known as the Sugar House, but now it's Rivers. I don't think I'll ever call it Rivers. It's always Sugar House to me. So you had your first fight against Kyle Walker. It was a first round submission choke. So I also like to ask this to show that fighters are human and they're not robots or anything, and they show some type of emotion. But what were your feelings going into that? Were you nervous at all, or because of your few fights in amateur, was it everyday business for you?
No, I was comfortable. A lot of my amateur fights, I was upset because it wasn't the professional rule set. I had shin guards on. We couldn't punch to the face on the ground. We couldn't kick to the head or anything like that standing. We couldn't knee to the face. We couldn't elbow. You're very limited as far as amateur fighting. So it was more of just like a boxing match, and then when I hit to the ground, it was just grappling. Like you could just punch to the body, and that was about it. But I liked the pro rule set. Like when I was in the gym, I was training the pro rule set. I was training elbows on the ground. I was training knees to the face standing, elbows to the face standing. So when it became pro, I was comfortable with it. And I think that's why I'm so much of a better professional than I was as an amateur.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Of course, of course. Okay, and then I would like to jump into so what was your relationship like with the CFFC? Obviously, you were a champion there too, a really good one. So what was your relationship like, and what were some of the opportunities that the CFFC has brought to you?
Yeah, the CFFC is great. They're the top regional organization on the East Coast. I think they're going a little bit of West Coast as well now, but I have nothing but great things to say about them. They treat you like you're in the UFC. They treat you like you're the best, and being the champ for them was just like a great kind of responsibility. I knew after I won the belt, I had to kind of just be a professional inside and outside of the cage. They have you doing photo shoots, they have you doing video shoots for every fight. It's great. It's just like the UFC does, and it's nothing that isn't how do I put this? They're getting you ready for the UFC, so there's nothing different really. I mean, the only thing that I think is different is that the UFC is just like the top tier of sports. So they're the NFL of MMA, so the competition is just a little bit higher there, but that's about it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then so you wrapped up in CFFC being 9-0, but I did want to ask this: is there any pressure being an undefeated fighter in the UFC? Like, do you put pressure on yourself being a cage fighter, or is it just everyday business, or is there thoughts in the back of your head, man, I can't really take this loss, or is it, or does a record not mean anything to you?
No, the record's everything. That's kind of what you base yourself off of. But losses are going to come regardless of whether it's you're fighting for the CFFC or whether you're fighting for the UFC. You have to prepare yourself for that, and it's not for me. It wasn't so much as knowing as losing as a professional, because I lost throughout my career as an amateur. So I knew what it felt like. It was how I was going to respond to it as a professional, because I was 9-0. I was a top prospect outside of the UFC. I came into the UFC. I lost that fight, and it was just a matter of bouncing back and just how I was going to react. I reacted very well. I took it very seriously. I did what I needed to do. I did the work outside of the gym, everything I needed to do to get this win recently that I just had. So it just proves that it's not a big deal to lose. It's a big deal to lose, but not really. It's just a matter of your mentality after you lose.
Of course, yeah. And I've been noticing that too, while we're talking the cage fighters, because I have a boxing background with the local fighters here, and I feel like Floyd Money Mayweather put a lot of pressure on boxers, where if they have a loss or two, they're dropped a bad habit. Yes, so
yeah, definitely are.
Interesting to say the two different sports and how different a loss is and all. Yeah.
Yeah, and
then,
you can even tell, because in boxing they'll kind of build you up a little bit, right? So they'll get you to fight a small guy that's power, or a tall guy that's lanky. So it's completely different, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then I saw you were on the UFC Contender Series, and you wound up winning that. If you could talk about the experiences and some of the networking that you did while on the show, or maybe some of the behind the scenes stuff that we didn't see as well. If you could touch up on that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so the Contender Series, I was actually, I think you're kind of talking about the ultimate, but the Contender Series was just a week thing. I had a set schedule. I didn't have to go out there for a certain amount of weeks. I had just had a fight scheduled. I believe it was June 25th, I think it was. And, I flew out on Tuesday of that week, hung out there all week, cut weight, and then fought. And if I won, and if they liked me, I had the potential of getting a contract, out of all 5 of the people that are fighting. But if not, you can come back or you can get a short call notice like I did. Yeah. Right. But it was great. They treat you just as well as the UFC does when you're actually in the UFC now, because it's the UFC. I'm fighting in the Apex. I'm fighting there for my Contender Series fight at the same spot that I fought, 2 weeks ago or last week, So it's great. They treat you just the same as if you're in the UFC.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then, so when you got the call on short notice to fight Brendan Allen, where were you, and how excited were you to finally get that call?
I was in my basement. I just got done working out with my brother because of the whole quarantine thing, and he got stuck in the basement for that week or whatever. And I had come upstairs to get a protein drink or something, and my phone had a FaceTime. I had a FaceTime missed call from my manager. My manager usually never FaceTime calls us. So I knew something was a little up, but I didn't really think about it. So I answered the call, and he was like, "We have a short notice call up for Brandon if you want to take it." And I was like, "All right, yeah, yeah." All right, cool. It's what I've been working for. It's not the circumstances that I wanted as far as 10 days notice, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I had to take it. I was ready. I was actually at that time, I was training for a fight on the Contender Series this year. I believe it was set to fight in June, but then I got switched to August. So I was still in camp, and then they called me for that short notice fight. So.
Okay. And the Zoom and the FaceTime wasn't at 1:30 in the morning like Chris, right?
No, not at all. No, I think it was at 11:30, 12 o'clock in the.
Wait, I think
afternoon,
it's kind of
so
crazy. Good. I think it's crazy how you and your brother are kind of it was the same situation almost.
Yeah.
Like a short notice fight for both of you.
I mean, yeah. I think part of that goes into it because the UFC is putting on so many shows now, so they have to kind of fill spots in a way.
Yeah.
But they're not picking just anybody can just come up and compete. They're picking the top guys that are here. But yeah, everybody always tells you to stay ready, and that just shows that you need to. We both got 10 days notice for call-ups, and it's wild, but yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome fight because I'll never forget watching that. I felt like if it was a 5-rounder, I feel like you had him in the fourth. I mean, even though the both of you were just digging and exhausted in the third, I felt like if there was a round 4, you would have had him.
Yeah,
sure.
that was always. I think that's a good thing and a bad thing that I've had. My past, I think, 3 or 4 fights prior to that were all 5-round fights, so I was used to kind of using my pace and everything like that for the later rounds, but I only had 3 rounds, so I went all out. I did what I could do to try to win the best as I could, and came up short, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, and this is one of my favorite images from the fight, so I had this printed, and I'm hoping to get you to sign this. I'm surprised that the lady at Walgreens wasn't like, "What the hell are you printing? What the hell's going on?
What is going on here? Why are you printing that?"
Yeah, what the hell's happening? Yeah, so I'm hoping to get some ink on that from you.
Yeah, definitely, I will.
Sure. All right. So I have 3 more questions, and I'm going to pass it on to Nick. This one's I'm very curious of. So I guess I could crown you as the king of soundtracks for entrance music. So the first time I saw you fight, because I've been starting to really get into the UFC and all now. Well, I saw you at Parks at I think it was back in February. You were the co-main with Pat Sabatini. You came out to the Karate Kid. You're the best around. So I was so hype. I was like, all right, it looks like Kyle I'm going to be rooting for. And then you came out to the Whispers, your last fight. So what type of mindset do you have, or do you just try to go with the most coolest 80s/90s song to come out to?
It's no, I like 80s music a lot. It's kind of been a new kick I've been on in the past 2-3 years. And then Guardians of the Galaxy did that whole 80s 70s theme, so that really turned me on to the whole 70s 80s music. And I when I do my walkouts, I like music that puts me in a good mood. I don't really like hardcore rock or anything like that. I don't need to get into a deep dark space and get all angry at my opponent. I'm going in to fight some guy, so it's no big deal. As long as I'm getting a good mood, I'm going to perform well. But yeah,
right.
I have a set list on my phone of walkout songs that I'm going to come out to eventually, and I think 90% of them are all 70s, 80s. So
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Kyle's next song is going to be "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
I know.
Hardcore rock.
That's the most basic UFC song.
I know.
No, I'm actually hoping that a song from Kenny Loggins is at least on your playlist, maybe like a Top Gun.
I'll have to, I'll have to pick
like
one of those.
like a Mighty Wings or like a Danger Zone. Oh yeah,
All right,
definitely.
yeah. Danger Zone is definitely a potential.
Yeah, gotta be. All right. And then the last two I got. So Chris really touched us on his answer for this one, so I had to ask you for this one. So you guys have a special bond. So we would like to know, how much does Chris mean to you in your life?
He means a lot, man. You know, he's my older brother. He's always, you know, when I was a little kid, he used to beat me up all the time, but you know, I used to go and cry to my mom all the time, but you know, he's really made me stronger and made me who I am today, and I really owe a lot to him. You know, not only just like growing up and him like being there and all that stuff, but throughout fighting. You know, he's been my number one guy throughout fighting. You know, words can't describe it, honestly. Words can't describe the bond that we have, and it's fantastic and so awesome to see his success and knowing that him being successful is just going to lead to more success for me. So,
yeah,
awesome answer. Yeah, we like to hear that because you know, a lot of like siblings growing up might be like 3, 4, 5, 6 years apart, and they like kill each other and stuff, and still do to this day. But you guys have that special bond, and like you guys are always outside of your corners and stuff too. So that's like really cool that you guys are there always.
Yeah, it's good. We like to just be there just in case anything else happens, you know?
Yeah. All right. So my last question I have for you before I pass it on to Nick. So hopefully you don't let us down with this answer. Please do not. What what is your favorite cheesesteak spot in Philly?
Steve's, without a doubt.
Oh,
right.
the same answer. Nice.
Yeah, I love it. Oh no. So what is your go-to at Steve's?
My go-to at Steve's is an American without and side of spicy fries.
Perfect.
And
It's awesome.
There's nothing better. I honestly not a fan of the people that say that Geno's or Pat's or anything like that. Those are tourist spots.
Right, exactly.
They're tourist spots.
Exactly.
You gotta stop.
All right, cool, perfect. Yeah, so Chris told us Steve's, but then he made me feel bad because I live right down the street from Cafe Carmela. I've yet to try it, and he said that they got a top 3 cheesesteak. So now I feel like I have to try one this weekend. I
have not tried that.
Oh, no, either?
I haven't tried
Okay.
the cheesesteak yet, so no.
Oh, okay.
But that's one on the list. That I want to try that. I want to try what is it? John's roast pork, and I want to try Angelo's as well because I heard they're all pretty good. But
yeah, I haven't tried Angelo's. So like, of course, the Barstool guy, El Prez, like really hyped it up with the pizza and cheesesteaks. So like, it's like really tough to get anything there unless you call like a couple hours ahead of time. But Cafe Carmela is not so bad waiting wise. So I think you got a better shot with that one first to try.
All right, I'll take notes for that.
All right, I got you.
The weird thing about John's roast pork, it's a great cheesesteak, but they only have the seeded rolls.
Oh, okay.
Those are kind of the best kind of rolls, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of them. I don't know.
Are you serious? Damn.
Swear to God. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, those are the best kind of rolls.
Well, you'll probably love it then.
Right.
All right, are you good?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I just want to hit on obviously we already talked about the Allen fight, but your second UFC fight against Dustin Stolfus. So we were on here. I forget when we were talking about. I guess that card. We went live on like Instagram and just like made our picks, and I just thought it was a great like style matchup for you, which you have a unique style, and I'll get into that in a little bit. If you agree with me or not. I think that was a great style matchup for you, and he didn't really give you any cause of concern whatsoever in that fight.
No, for being 13-1, it was kind of an easy fight. You know, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
We thought it was gonna be. We like even my coaches afterwards. My coaches and I were talking. You know, for 13-1 and for his resume of fighters, you know, we thought that he was going to come out there and be a lot tougher than he was. But I personally think it had to do with him getting COVID. You know, he had COVID. When did he have it? We were scheduled to fight prior. We were scheduled to fight November 7th, and then he got it, and then the fight got skipped 2 weeks. So we were, I think, 6 weeks or 7 weeks out. He got it. So that takes 2 weeks away from him from training.
Right.
And then he only has 3 or 4 weeks afterwards to get ready for the fight. So and COVID allegedly like attacks your respiratory system.
Yeah.
So his conditioning is gonna be terrible. And you know, I think a lot of that plays a factor into it. But again, you know, for being 13-1, you know, it was a lot easier of a fight than I expected. But you know, the guys that I've fought and the East Coast guys, you know, we're just tougher than everybody else. So
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. You're like the Darce Cho King, right?
Yeah. No, you know,
because
I'm trying to get the Darce Knight nickname, but unfortunately Tony Ferguson has it, so I can't take it. So
right, yeah, you can't. Not yet at least.
Not yet, at least. Yeah, I have to get more than 5.
Yeah, well, yeah. How many do you have right now?
I think I have 5 Darce, and then I have 3 rear naked chokes. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
yeah,
2 decisions. 2 decisions. Yeah.
I know it's not your division, but that you just hit on Dustin getting COVID. That's why the Leon Edwards and Hazmat fight got.
Yeah, I heard. I just heard about that. That sucks, man. Especially for Leon, man. He's been trying to get a fight. So, like, he's been asking to fight everybody allegedly, and this happens. So
yeah,
that sucks.
And yeah, what do you think of that hype train about? Because I guess I can talk about him because he's open to going 185. I mean, he fought Mershart at 185. What do you think of that hype train there?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the kid can talk, and he beat 2 guys that are unranked that shouldn't have been in the cage with him. You know, that's my opinion on him. I mean, no offense, but Gerald that he beat, the guy's a 500 fighter, so he's nothing special, honestly. I mean, he landed one good right hand or left hand and put him out, and I don't know. I mean, the kid's just building off of the hype, so it's good for him. But I don't like that you can just talk your way to the top. You know, it doesn't matter like who you're fighting. Like he's fought 2 unknown guys and one. I think Gerald's unranked, so I'm not really sure, but I don't like the way that you can just talk your way to the top. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Right, and that's like through all weight divisions. You got everybody trying to be Connor and everything like that, you know. And I don't like that either. But
no, don't get me wrong. You know, Connor did a great thing. He came in here. He kind of got in and got out, and now he's back in training and fighting and stuff like that. But I think it's put like a bad like taste in like into the sport as far as talking and running your mouth and stuff like that. You know, these guys don't realize that. These guys don't realize that some of these guys take it seriously. Like if you're gonna talk, if you're gonna like run your mouth on me or something like that, and then or my brother, and we see you in the street, you know, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same thing in the cage. You know, we're gonna. I don't. It doesn't matter if you're in the cage. Like I'm not gonna wait to the cage. Like if you're gonna run your mouth, you're gonna run your mouth in front of me. You know, and some guys don't see that. They think it's like WWE type of stuff.
Yeah. So like God forbid, I know there's been a few circumstances at like press conferences, and so say if there's any like guy that, because I know you're going to be like a stand-up guy no matter who you fight. Like you don't have any hard feelings that I know of towards any 185er. But if any, you know how some of the guys are like they chatter a little bit, you know, try to build up the fight. And so you're about it. If they start talking shit and stuff like that, and like you're gonna fall back.
I'm not. I wasn't raised to sit back and relax when people were talking and running their mouth. You know, we were taught to do something about it. So, you know, if that day comes, you know I'm going to get paid when I fight, but I don't have to get paid every single time I fight. So.
Get Kyle Daukaus on a fucking press conference. All right, so I did this with your brother, and I kind of want to do it with you because I didn't know how it was going to go, but he was so fast with his answers. All
right.
So I'm going to do you the top 5 middleweights right now, and there's a couple.
Okay.
I mean, I always look at the rankings and stuff like that. They come out like pretty much almost every Monday. and some questionable individuals on there, but whatever. We don't make the rankings. So, all right. So I'll start at the top. And basically, you versus this person.
Okay.
Israel Adesanya. How's the fight go?
I honestly think I would beat him in 4 rounds.
4?
4. Yeah, 4.
4.
It's funny.
Okay, I'm sorry.
One of the guys. Oh wait.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are we good? Connection good?
Yeah.
Yep. You're good.
Yeah, one of my buddies, Jim Morris. I'm gonna give a shout out to him because he actually told us about Adesanya back when Adesanya was kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
He sent us a highlight of this guy's YouTube page and was like, "This guy's turning to MMA. He's gonna be the next UFC champ." Blah 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 blah. And I have it, like I responded with like, if he becomes the champ, I'm gonna end up fighting him and beating him. And he ended up becoming the champ, so it's just a matter of time until I fight him. And I'm just giving Jim a shout out because Jim is the first person that told me about Israel. So I'm gonna give Jim props to being the first person that knew who he was before he came into MMA.
Damn. Yo, So fun fact, and I'm not even kidding, I swear on my wife. My first ever highlight video I've seen of Israel Adesanya, this is well before he was champion and all that stuff. I don't even know if he was in the UFC yet, but it's him getting knocked out cold in glory kickboxing. Maybe not glory kickboxing, but kickboxing nonetheless. Knocked out cold. Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was against Perheya, I think it was. He just fought for LFA recently.
Yeah, I was like,
wow.
He's
that guy that beat him has moved to MMA as well, so it's like, ugh, tough.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll move on. We'll go to Robert Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker. Are we just like how I do, or like what I think how it would end?
How you do, and what do you think happens?
I think I would beat him. I think I would beat him with this decision.
Decision.
I think I have to grind out a decision. Yeah.
I agree with that 100% too. Paulo Costa.
I would submit him. I would submit him in probably 2.5 rounds. I think right in the middle of the 3rd round.
Jared Cannonier.
Submission. Early submission.
Early.
Yeah. I don't want to be too cocky. Jack Hermanson. I think I would beat Jack Hermanson. I think I could finish him. I think I could TKO him.
And last but not least, oh God, Yoel Romero.
Oh Jesus!
Shit out of me, man.
It would have to be a decision. It would have to be a decision. I'd have to beat him to death for 3 rounds.
That guy scares the living shit out of me. Even in his interviews, I'm like,
yeah.
God,
I've come to the realization that he'll be an opponent eventually if he's still fighting, and I have to sign the contract. So it is what it is.
Absolutely, you have to. What do you know anything about Marvin Vettori?
Yeah. I actually, before I got signed to the UFC, I tried to fill in. Like one of his opponents fell out. I tried to fill in for him, but obviously didn't work out.
Yeah. How do you think that's like?
He fought one of the guys that I trained with up at TriStar, Andrew Sanchez, and I mean Andrew lost. It sucks, but I think like stylistically, it's a very good matchup for me. I've always wanted to fight him. There's just something about him that I don't like. I don't know why, but yeah, I think. Yeah, right. I think he's a good opponent. I think I would run through him though, honestly.
So yeah, they're fighting on Saturday. Jack Hermanson and Marvin Vettori. How do you think that fight goes?
I think Hermanson runs through him. I think Hermanson will submit him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So like when I was watching your your stand up is actually like super impressive, right? And like there's some videos on like YouTube of like you and the amateur with the shin pads on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much more you've grown. Obviously that was almost like 6-7 years ago, however long it's been. And obviously you're only going to get better because you're so young for the middleweight division. You're young for the UFC. I think you and your brother and he answered this question too, seem the most relaxed inside the octagon? Like it's like your, I don't want to call it a happy place like Happy Gilmore, but like it's like you're just in your element and you love this shit. Like you're just so relaxed, calm, no matter what the hell happens. Like your UFC debut against Brendan Allen, you look like a 10-fight veteran in the UFC, the way you were fighting.
Yeah, it's
and even against Stolfus, like you just knew you whatever you wanted to do, right? You kind of like made it like your stand-up was on point, and whatever you wanted to do, you were going to do to him. And like that, do you feel like being calm and all that stuff, just like that's just the kind of style fighter you are, or what kind of style fighter do you think you are?
Yeah, it's what I've always done. So, it's what I've always wanted to do. So there's no need for me to get all hyped up or anything like that. I try to just control my adrenaline. I try to just control everything. Don't get me wrong. You get nervous before a fight. Oh, are we still there? Yeah. You get nervous before a fight and stuff like that. But if you don't have nerves, like something's wrong. You have to have a little bit of butterflies in like the pit of your stomach, but you have to make your butterflies fly in formation. So that's what I try to do every single fight. I just try to control my emotions. I try to be calm. And yeah, like even in the locker room and stuff like that, you have these idiots that are blasting music and dancing and doing all this stupid stuff. And if you look over, my brother and I are just sitting there like quiet, chilling. And they always say like the most dangerous guy in the room are the quietest ones. So, and it just shows. But yeah, like when I step foot in the cage, it's no different than when I'm stepping foot on the mats of the gym. It's just, I don't have any gear on. All I have is my gloves on. So.
Right. So I got to ask you, are you looking forward to when fans are coming back and say you're on like a big pay-per-view with all those fans in the stands? Are you looking forward to that?
Not really, honestly. I honestly, I'm just not a fan of the fans. I would be okay if like they let family members come in and that's it. Cause my girlfriend is like, she would be on the side of the cage, on top of the cage, like freaking out, yelling. She'd probably try to throw punches or something like that if she could. But, I'm fine with families coming into the cage as long as it's not like sorry, but douchebags that are drinking alcohol and getting drunk. And, I've been at plenty of venues where fights have broken out in the stands.
Right.
And there's like, you're there to watch fights. So there's no need to fight in the stands. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be great. It's going to be great to fight in front of thousands of people in a stadium. But if I had to choose, I would just keep it the way it is right now and just lay low and just let us fight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, dude.
Yeah.
So I have a prediction. I like doing this too. I have a prediction for your first ever top 10 opponent. I don't know if you have any or like is any like thing in the works right now for you. I know you can't say anything, but
no. Honestly, as of right now, no. I'm trying to get a fight hopefully like February or March as of right now, but we haven't heard anything back yet. So
all right. So after your next win, I know you're probably not one to call somebody out or anything like that. You just want to hire a ranked opponent, things like that.
Yeah.
What are your goals for 2021?
Just keep winning. I'm just trying to keep winning. I told myself, and I have like written on my little notepad over there, a little weird little notepad, that my brother and I are going to be co-headlining and headlining a UFC event by the end of 2021. So, come this time next year, if I'm not main event or co-main event, he'll be main event or co-main event and opposite of it. So, I'm not really sure if it's a good thing that we're going to be fighting on the same card or whatnot, but I'm fine with it. It's not a problem with me.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say, because I know you were very in your I think it was your Stolfus post-fight press conference. They were talking to you about I'm sure you get this question all the time. Oh, you and your brother headline the same card or on the same card. Doesn't matter if you're headlining whatever. You can't fight after them.
Yeah, I just don't want to. Like okay. I'll be fine. I will be okay. Like with the UFC, what they do is like the first like 4 fights, they will take you to the venue, and then the other 4 fights will just hang back, and then when they start to come out, they start to come back in. So like we like flip flop. So if I'm first or second on the card, or he's first or second on the card, but the other person is higher up on the card, I'm fine with that. Just as long as it's not back to back. Like, just as long as I'm not warming up, and just as long as we're not warming up together. Like, as long as he doesn't fight after me or I don't fight after him, that's fine. But if I'm low on the card and he's high on the card, I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right. So last question for me is, what do you who would you like? I don't know. You're probably not going to say any names, but just anyone. Just your next fight. This first.
Who next? There's a couple guys I have on my radar. I like to fight Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze would be a good opponent. I think he's a very long southpaw boxer guy. I think that's good to go against. Just because the last guy I fought was jiu-jitsu guy. He was kind of short and stocky jiu-jitsu guy. So I want to test myself against a guy that's built the same as me. It's been a while since I fought somebody that's been my size. So I would like to fight Tom Breeze. That would be a good fight, I think. That Kevin Holland kid, he's pretty good. I know he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Hermanson, right? And then he got COVID, and now he got switched, right? Yeah. So I'm not going to get that fight because he's fighting like a number 3 or number 5 guy. So
Jacare.
Yeah. So I'm open to anybody that's higher ranked than me, just as long as they're above me. Ideally, I would like top 25, but I don't think they're going to give me that right now. Maybe top 30, that would be okay. But as long as I'm not fighting a guy that's coming off of the Contender Series or a guy that's getting signed short notice, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Nice. All right. Best of luck in 2021, dude. Thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it. Your brother owes us cheesesteaks after he beats Olenek on.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, what a huge fight for him, dude. I love that. He said he owes us steak something.
Right. That's what I told him. I said, like, when we were talking after his last win, I was like, it's a detriment to you if they give you anybody that's not top 15.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong. The UFC heavyweight division is kind of on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get 2 to 3 wins, like, they're going to throw you right in the heat of it. And that just shows my brother, he got 2 nice knockouts, and now he's fighting a very strong, very big grappler. But I think my brother's gonna run through him. It'll probably be, my brother's gonna be too quick for him. He's not gonna be able to get a hold of him, and it's just gonna be a quick night for him.
Put it this way: what Derek Lewis just did to that guy, your brother is 100 times faster than Derek Lewis, so it's just gonna be quicker. Yep. And I couldn't agree with you.
I think after he beats him, they'll give him probably Derek Lewis or somebody like that. I think they'll give him somebody that's like a knockout artist. That way they can try to test him standing wise. But people haven't seen my brother's jiu-jitsu. My brother's jiu-jitsu is top notch. He's a black belt, so he's not just a black belt. Just saying that,
Yep. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Kyle, thank you so much again. We really do appreciate you and your brother, and we always show love to Northeast Philly guys.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank
appreciate
you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.